Yo, what up, good fam? You're now tuned into the BHURDE podcast, a new platform for free thought, real exchange, and positive change, branded together, all to empower
you. Because over here, you know that to be real and to be felt, you must first be heard. Hey, what's up? We back.
Y'all don't know how much it took to get to that point. Right
This
there.
dog, this man over here, messing up 600
You messed up
times.
first.
Okay, no, don't put it on me.
Is it recording?
Yes.
Yes.
We live.
Yeah.
We live. Matter of fact,
Who
we are
we got?
recording.
Who we got up in here?
Who they be? Who they
Hello, I'm Crystal, and I'm so excited to be here on the Be Heard podcast.
is? Hey, Crystal. Nice
Hey,
to have
Crystal.
you.
Hey, girl, that's my cousin, y'all.
Okay. Hey, cousin.
And you also have Alicia, and I'm super excited to be here as well.
Yes,
Hey.
I ain't asked you to share all that.
She's our adopted cousin.
Pam. Yeah, she's also our cousin.
Mimosa Jones is officially in the
Hey,
building.
hey.
That's cool. Champagne Shawnee here.
All right. Well, today
What's up, guys?
we are talking about. Let me just
Oh yeah, I was about to say.
Show my shirt.
A quick flex. Quick
so
flex.
we know what we're speaking
Quick
about.
flex. Zoom in on
Glad you're
that.
showing the shirt because I was scared for a moment. I didn't know what you were doing.
What?
What is happening here?
We are talking about today education.
Yes.
So we are all living through a pandemic, and we are now having to work through a pandemic. And because our profession involves education, that doesn't stop because there's a pandemic. So we are gathered here today.
On this beautiful, most fun days of the Sundays.
Brunch Sunday,
Yeah.
to discuss what it's like being an educator during a pandemic, what it's like to be a parent of a young elementary school student during a pandemic, what it's
Pray for
like,
Wow.
Please pray for me.
Pray for me.
also what it is like to be a school leader during a pandemic,
Wow. Distance learning, living through it, working through it,
working through it,
parenting through it. Shouts out to all the moms, first of all.
and the dads. How you
Moms
not gonna
first,
leave
though.
the dads
Moms
out?
first, though.
It takes a strong woman
Thank
to be
you.
able to do this in a pandemic.
That's what I'm saying.
Let's be
Gotta
clear.
shout the moms out first. Gotta shout the moms out first.
Okay.
And the dads.
And the
stay home.
dads.
We appreciate you.
And the parents. But like we know it's real. Like it's that's why this episode is being brought to y'all, because the DMs were going crazy just over everyone like appreciating the suggestions, the healthy suggestions that we've made for the mental health and
Yes.
like taking time for yourself and being able to, just get a moment for you and all of that. Like that's been important for a lot of people, but more than anything, like the parents and the teachers and stuff. So
Yeah, it's hard to parent and teach,
Right.
right? I don't know because I'm not a parent, but I
Right.
know people who are parents. I have coworkers.
cousin knows.
Yeah.
Yes,
So let's start it off with this, cuz
Let's get into it.
what's one word you're gonna use to describe what it's been like
Yeah.
to parent and be a substitute teacher to your child?
One word would be stressful. To be honest, it started off very rocky. My mood had switched. I started a new job. My son is in kindergarten. So trying to balance the two at home was very stressful.
Yeah, son.
I had to question my mental health for a couple days.
Wow.
I remember waking up,
Real.
not turning on the computer, not getting him up, and just crying for a good 5 minutes because I felt so stressed.
Wow.
But God is good. My new job offered childcare for employees.
Amen.
Amen to
So,
that.
Amen.
He's able to come to work. We go into work, somebody can monitor him. So that takes a lot of stress off of what I was going
Wow.
through. So,
That's
and my
big.
village is strong. So that's good too. I was able to call a couple of my girlfriends just to vent
Yeah.
without them judging me and, just, being honest about the stresses that I was going to.
Yeah.
And they encouraged me and just made me realize that you just have to do what you have to do. Nothing is
Absolutely.
perfect.
Absolutely.
I'm not perfect. The situation isn't perfect. As long as you're doing your best, it's okay.
Yep.
So So now I'm coming from a point where, hey, if you don't get on to PE because I have a meeting, that's just where we're at right now.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. And he'll be fine. He's 5. We'll make it through. So I'm just want to tell all the single moms to stay encouraged, be encouraged.
Yes.
This won't last long. Do the best that you can do. Take care of yourself first. Because you cannot take care of anyone else if you don't take care of yourself
That's
first.
right.
So, needless to say, we're in an uphill trajectory as far as this being at home is concerned and at home learning. But it was rough at first.
Yeah.
I love the transparency. That's real.
Yeah.
That's real.
Thank you for sharing, Crystal.
For real. For real. I know a lot of people gonna feel that. Like, a lot of people have been saying, like, man, like, y'all are hitting on some real good stuff because of that actual stress that's happening that they're not allowed to vent or talk about or even feel like they can come on a group accord with some other of their own coworkers or peers that are going through the same exact thing that they're going through.
That's what's interesting to me sometimes. Everyone at work is dealing with the same thing. You know, you have coworkers who are single parents. You have your coworkers who have elementary students, but you're also trying to teach at the same time.
Absolutely.
But when we had that discussion as a staff, it was like, well, but we need you to teach, so you have to figure it out. So I remember being on a Zoom call with one of my coworkers, like, actually cried because that was the message that was given.
Wow.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, like, you do still have to teach because you still have bills to pay. Like, let's be clear.
That's real.
But
should one come before the other?
And that's where the struggle becomes. And that's why, you know, you tend to, as a mom, you start to question your abilities because you're deciding whether I'm putting other kids first before my own. But you got to pay the bills, right? And that's at the end of the day. If I don't get on this, if I don't go to my job and perform well at my job, my son won't eat, right? So, but he can go to school next year still. Right. Somebody can make up, or we can try to make up for the lost times, or I can try to supplement at home. But at the end of the day, like, I have to work and he has to eat, so we just got to figure it out. I also noticed being very transparent with his teachers about my situation, so they'll understand where I'm coming from helps as well. So I would tell all single moms, just be in contact with the school, just letting them know what your situation is, just in case, you know, your child doesn't log on or you can't get it together. At least they'll understand, you know, where you're coming from.
Yes, you have to over communicate in this environment.
Right.
All right, Alicia, what's your one word?
Originally I said unconventional, but the more and more I think about virtual learning, like, it is unmasking a lot of stuff that I didn't necessarily think about as an administrator in the building. And a couple of those things is just like, how deep is my empathy for individuals, like being empathetic with parents, staff members. And so that's one thing that I'm discovering during this. And then with virtual learning, you are realizing, like, the digital divide and the economic disparities between students, groups of students. So it's like a lot is being uncovered, and that's what I'm learning.
How many students
virtual space
don't have Wi-Fi? Like, you think that's something that is just readily available.
So real. I had to put together a Wi-Fi tutorial on how to, like, actually clear your router, boost your router, you know, for stronger bandwidth, what it looks like if you have all the devices on your one Comcast router at home, and what it looks like and why the Zoom call might not go through or something like that. It's crazy.
I'm saying just don't have it at all. They don't have internet at home.
No internet at home. You know, schools providing Wi-Fi, computers, and then just students not even understanding how to navigate through. Like, they know how to navigate on a phone, right? But when it comes to, like, a computer, like,
it's very different.
They're just like, the amount of, I guess, illiteracy when it comes to technology is great on their parents' side as well as on their side. So it's, you know, this virtual space has uncovered a lot.
And even thinking about kids who have, there are multiple children in the home, so, and they don't have a private space. So like they're getting on, but their brother in the background is on, or their sister in the background is on, so you can hear that feedback.
Yep.
Or even their parents are in the background working. I've had kids apologize, sorry, my dad's in the background, he's on the business call. Like,
I've seen that a few times too. Yeah.
Just the fact that there are parents that still have to work in this pandemic, like go outside of the building, and so the age group that I'm working with, they're charged with being responsible for their younger siblings.
Yeah.
And so it's a lot.
Yeah.
Dang. Like they gotta grow up too.
Yeah.
Like that's putting responsibility on them too.
Instead of it's the latchkey kid, it's the latchkey computer.
Yep.
You in the house by yourself.
I had somebody, student send me in a chat, I gotta go help my sibling with something real quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Or, sorry, I came late. My sister couldn't log on to her Zoom, and I'm like, stop! You don't have to apologize for that. Like it's cool, but thanks for letting me know.
And again, that comes where teachers and administrators, like everybody has to have empathy and grace for individuals, because it's like a lot going on.
Yeah.
Right.
I want to touch on that a little stronger, because you're absolutely right. Like it is a time to be the most empathetic that you can be ever, because of what we're going through in this historical event. I feel like the fatigue is setting in, where it's like, yo, we've been on lockdown, we've been through this pandemic. My neighbor done caught COVID 3 times already and still taking flights. Like, I'm over it. And I see that more and more, like, on the day-to-day where people are wearing less masks and stuff, but more so on how people are treating each other as well too. The biggest translation I've been seeing is how it starts affecting the kids more, where there's more arguments on Zoom, that you can hear in the background and stuff like that. The child has to do more now because, I'm over it. I'm the parent and I'm not even waking up. You can log on to your computer or might even be sharing computers, but I just feel like it's just, man, the time where we need to be the most kind, like people are just running out of fuel. Like,
I mean, we're dealing with multiple pandemics, not just the health pandemic, but we're also thinking about the pandemic on Black and brown bodies, right? Our economic pandemic that we're going through. So it's a lot of them, and all of those stresses at one time.
Yes.
It's causing, you want them to be empathetic, but at the same time, I'm at my wit's end because of everything that's happening.
And reasonably so. So.
So that's why it's so important that we get out here and vote. It's so important that we switch. This president has put us in this position.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Very
He could have
true.
changed the course of this pandemic.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have been in it so long had he acted faster. And it just goes to show that he does not care about us as a people.
Absolutely.
No matter what people think, he doesn't really not care about us as a people.
Absolutely.
And we've got to make this change.
But have you all seen a shift in your conversations at work about, the anti-racist? Now we want to be the anti-racist school. And I want to be the anti-racist teacher. Well, where were you before the pandemic? So were you racist
Definitely
before?
seen that.
Yeah.
Definitely seen that.
Ignorance is bliss, right? And so we were in this blissful state prior to this pandemic. This fake utopic society. I mean, that's what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
But I think, again, this pandemic uncovered a lot. And so while I think it's the right move that people are saying we need to be an anti-racist school system, we need to do this, you are trying to do something in one shot that is a systematic problem, and it's not going to be uncovered in a school year. Like, it's not going to be resolved, it's not going to be like changed within a school year. All we can do is take baby steps and be very intentional about those baby steps until we get to the ultimate goal.
I mean, it's just pretty much putting a Band-Aid.
Well said.
A Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. Like, let's be clear. A curriculum is not going to change someone who's racist, their thoughts over time. Right. A curriculum is not going to address people's implicit bias towards children. It's still going to come out. So it's going to take a lot more work. We could start at the whole anti-racism curriculum and conversation. But two things. If we don't have administrators or school leaders that are really going to enforce change in the classroom, then all we're doing is giving them power to do what they want once those doors are closed.
But I also want to think about, like, what the anti-racist curriculum, who is it defined to serve?
Exactly.
Is it defined to serve the students so that they can grow up in a society where they can recognize anti-racism, like they can recognize it, or is it to serve the teaching population and to prevent them from being racist? Like I'm trying to figure out who is it to serve, because if it's to serve our younger students, great. That's going to build up a generation that's not being exposed to the same things that we are being exposed to. However, it's a 6 on one hand, half a dozen on another. Because if the teachers still have their own implicit biases or explicit biases, it's all for no reason at all.
It's at the point now where it's almost like, I mean, because we're able to see it inside of the school system,
right?
But it's also being able to, you know, to translate it to the workforce, to the job force, to the corporate, you know, field and stuff too, where they're dealing with the same diversity, inclusion issues and equality issues, where it's more now starting to be viewable as like just protection. Like we have this here to say that we get it. We know it almost, you know, almost in the same sense of when they were about to riot over the George Floyd thing. People were putting up Black Lives Matter, and you never even knew, you know, that where you stood at before, but it's just on your building as a form of protection, so that you know you're not seen on the outside, you're seen as an ally type thing.
Pretty
or when
much
they give
like,
you Juneteenth off.
Right. Because those are the bystanders, and we need allies at this point.
Right.
You know, they're bystanding. They don't necessarily agree, but they're not really ready to stand up. Right?
Yeah.
And so at this point, we are good with bystanders. We need allies to really be out there with us in every aspect of schools, to your workforce, to any, you know, social groups on the playground. Like, it needs to be very clear that we're all unified as one, and not, oh, I see that y'all struggling, but I'm gonna sit right here and sip my drink anyway.
Right. But so people also have to speak up too. If you see it in the workplace, or you see it in your school.
I don't think none of y'all over here holding your tongues.
I'm very vocal.
None of y'all
very
holding your
vocal.
tongues over
when
here.
Especially when it comes to what I'm asked to teach children. What I'm not going to do is just have you read Robert Frost and To Kill a Mockingbird. It's what I'm not finna do.
Real.
Because there are so many other things that you can be learning, and there are black people who write. Black people who write poems, black people who write books, graphic novels, comic books. I had a student bring in the Boondocks, right? That was his book that he wanted to read. Okay, you can read the Boondocks. This is the only book this man read the entire school year for independent reading.
Shout out to Aaron,
but you know what?
Aaron
I didn't care. He loved art. He wanted to be a graphic designer. He loved the way the book was constructed. And he and I could sit down and have a conversation about all of the nuances of the text, compare it to the show. Well, how do you think they did this? We came up with other storylines. There's so many things. But had it been another teacher who maybe didn't look like me, they would have told him, you can't read this. Let me give you a Marvel comic book. How about Superman? You know what I'm saying? That's not okay. You have to be okay with what students are bringing in, number one, and two, you have to be okay reading other works with kids. If it's okay for me to read the white text with the kids that aren't white, then you need to be okay with reading black text with kids when you are white.
That's true. That's true.
That's definitely.
I think it's a good point, because, you know, Dom, you're excellent at what you do, and you're able to, you know, influence the imagination as is. But with remote learning, from what I'm seeing, even at my location, it's kind of different, where you're seeing that a lot of what the exposure that kids get are from each other, you know, so that, you know, when they're able to see the bandwidth of their friendships or what's around them, it's like, oh wow, I learned who Ta-Nehisi Coates was from my classmate kind of thing. But now you're kind of siloed at home to Rick and Morty, or, you know, random stuff on Nickelodeon, where you're not, you know, getting the you know, the actual things that you could get if you were talking to Dom or to Alicia, you know, inside of school.
Yeah, that's a good point, and I think
you get some of the champagne.
The other aspect of this that we're missing is other skill sets that you learn from school, how to problem solve, how to manage friendships, how to deal with conflict. You're not necessarily getting that being at home on the virtual platform. So that's critical too. Shout out to my location. I won't name where I work at, but they were very good at having kids lead workshops on things that they like and that they enjoy virtually.
That's nice.
So I went into a workshop. I learned how to. They had a podcast workshop, like how to start your own podcast. They had like how to do patterns on T-shirts, like tie-dye, bleach.
That's right.
Really good. A cooking show. So they allow kids to use their creative expression to be able to reach others via Zoom platform. Kids were able to choose which workshops they want to go to. It was all kid generated, all kid led. Adults were just in there just making sure things didn't get out of hand, which they wouldn't. But so that's one way to engage students. I think at this point teachers have to be a little bit more creative and how to engage. Not saying shout out to y'all teachers because y'all are working hard.
Big shout out to the teachers.
We understand. I understand.
Big shout out to the
y'all
teachers.
are doing what y'all can. But right now is a time where you can be real creative without really having a whole curriculum in front of you.
Absolutely.
Well, unless you're in a school district where they have created a pacing guide that you are mandated to follow, and you're like, why, this is not normal circumstances, why are we being held to a pacing guide right now? We have ideas, like you were saying, of things that kids can do that's more creative, but you want us to give them a plot chart. Okay, you want us to still read a novel, and you want us to write responses. That's not, who's learning? Nobody's learning from that. We can't do business as usual. So when you're trying to convince an entire district that this is not working, it's very difficult to be creative. I mean, in a sense, right? Like I can go on my Zoom. The difference is, right, that is the good part. I'm in my Zoom and I have to let you in to my classroom. Whereas if I was at school, my door's open. You can just walk in.
Open door.
But now you have my link, but I'm the owner. So
not to where I am. I am the alternative host. So when I come in, you don't even know I'm in there.
Dang.
They haven't figured that out yet.
They figured it out now. They figured it out now.
Well, one thing
because you could definitely do that.
One thing I can say, we are held to the same thing, like a pacing guide, but we've been really intentional about making sure that the texts that students are reading are culturally relevant texts. So I think that's a good thing, which has really sparked students' interest in it. And similar to what Crystal just said, like, you have to be very creative. Like, start a virtual club, figure out what the kids' interests are, continue to do those cultural things. Granted, we're not in the building, but we still can have Spirit Week. We still can have community meetings. We still can have shout outs to staff members. Use your Instagram page, your school's Instagram page, to really highlight some great things that the school is doing. So you have to be as creative as possible in order to create buy-in from parents, buy-in from students. Like we did a virtual game night for families because they're going through the same thing.
We gotta keep that joy factor.
We have to keep the J factor in this space because
the J factor.
So it's a lot to be depressed about.
Oh yeah,
it is.
Oh yeah,
it is.
Okay, so since we've been virtual, there are some things that I really enjoy about it. There are some things that I really don't like about it, and there are some things that I miss about being at school. Right. So one of the things that I really love is that I can wake up late, make my coffee, roll on over to my desk, right? Literally roll out of bed to the desk. And, put my hair up real quick. Boom, bam, done. Hit that Zoom button and class is in session, right? I love that about it. But there are some things that, I really do miss. There are some things that I want to go away forever, right? So I want to hear from you guys before I tell everything. I told you what I like. What do you miss? What do you love to keep? What do you want to go away forever?
All right.
Can I go first?
Sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Sure.
Okay, cool. One thing that I miss, or I want to, one thing that I miss, of course, is just being among like my staff, being among the students, like seeing families. I really miss that. My love language is quality time, and so not having that, the absence of that, is just like heart-wrenching. One thing that I think we can keep, I'm like you, Dominique, I love getting out of bed and just going into the next room. Where's my office?
Yes.
Turn on that Zoom call, make sure my face is looking,
Yeah.
got a little glow to
Right.
it. Turn on the
Put
Zoom.
on some lip gloss.
Right. And hey, if we can work that out all
Yeah.
the time, I'm great. Like, I'm saving money on gas,
That's real.
saving money on not ordering out food. Just like,
Oh, you better than
I
me.
enjoy it. I enjoy being in the house for that part. One of the things that I think that we can
Get rid of.
Get rid of.
is the number of hours that we are on Zoom. It is a long day.
That's real
long
true.
day. Long
That's
day.
true.
I had to go to the eye doctor to get glasses because like being in front of the computer for so long, it's just messing up my vision.
I had to upgrade my lenses.
Yeah. The protective blue wear lenses, those are in now. Like
Yeah.
they're all going crazy on Amazon.
Yeah, it really helps.
Yeah.
Like I have prescription glasses, but I have that blue light protection.
Yeah, that's what they call it. Yeah.
So for me, I want to shout out the cafeteria workers,
Hey.
the janitors,
Hey.
being a mom and working from home.
Yeah.
I need to not be the cafeteria lady. I need to not be the janitor all day, cleaning, cooking lunch, cooking breakfast, cooking dinner.
Yo, that's real.
Like, I'm done.
That's-
so that is one thing that
That's real.
I miss. Like, my son being able to go to school, me not necessarily even worried about how he's going to eat, unless I want to send him a lunch. I know that he's going to be taken care of. I don't
Yeah.
have to clean up after every little activity.
Yeah.
And so I do miss that.
That is real.
I go into work 4 days a week, so I stay home on Wednesdays because he's out of school. So I thoroughly enjoy that routine of having to get up. Traffic isn't bad, so I don't have to fight that to go all the way uptown. But it's okay. Like I'm appreciative that I can go to work, sit in my office by myself.
Yeah.
No one's there for real, but maybe one or two coworkers, and they stand at the door and wait.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. One
Quarantine
thing
world.
that I
Right.
want to give up or think that needs to be changed, the kids are not outside. They're not doing too much physical activity. They're just sitting on the computer from 8 or 9 in the morning to 2 to 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Even the PE classes, they can't do but so much because some little kids' headphones are on, so they can't disconnect, or they may not have enough space. So I do feel like there needs to be more opportunities for play
Yes.
and enjoyment.
I agree.
I
It is
think
super
that needs to
simple.
carry over into when we go back to school in regular. Like is PE enough time for movement? Like
It's not.
It's not.
when you get up into the upper grades, you don't have recess. You know, all you have is
And on Zoom, you can't switch from class to class and say hey to your buddy in the hallway, run around a little bit. You don't get that hallway conversation that you do with your coworkers, like passing through the hallway, lunchroom conversation. All of that is gone.
Well, we have a group chat, my team, and that's hilarious all day.
Yeah. See, I'm at a new spot, like so I'm getting to try to learn people's
you gotta
mannerisms
get-
via the Zoom call or over the computer. So it's hard for me.
It is hard.
But we making it.
That's why I agree with it. Like I think it should stay too. Like to some degree, I don't know if like 1 day, 2 day, or something like that during the school week. Just I do think it should stay because that is the way that all life is going in the future. So if mommy and daddy are going to continue to be working remotely, after this whole pandemic is over, because even like companies like Twitter and big even government government agencies are saying even after this you don't have to necessarily go back to the office anymore. So since it's going to be a way of life, might as well try to adapt it to the children somehow.
For older kids, I think. Younger kids.
Yeah.
In that
Younger
sense.
kids.
But that's where like middle school and back, like elementary and stuff, they need that social aspect.
definitely
You need all of that. And to be honest, the same shout outs like I did to the moms and the dads. They need the relief too.
Yes.
They need the relief too.
Yes.
It's super real. Because when there was a vote that went out to say like, you know, remote learning, distance learning, or the choice to go back to school, and the parents have been with their children since March in the house, it was an overwhelming vote like, yo, send them back. That's what happened in the South.
Right. We haven't, I don't think we have that same experience. Like, it's still like half and half.
So is ours.
Parents are
Really?
like, they want their kids at home.
Yeah.
And the reality of the situation is, especially only children. I'm giving that plug for a mom of an only child. He is tired of seeing me every day, all day.
Yes,
true.
he
That's
FaceTimes
true.
me.
He gets his own group of friends. Like, my friends are not his
Yeah.
friends. He needs to be around his friends.
That's true.
My coworkers are not his friends because he likes to pop in on my Zoom meetings. So now at the point, my coworkers are like, "Where's Carter? Oh, hey Carter." No, please don't start talking to him because he will engage, and then y'all can't get him off.
Find out he got water cooler talk.
Yes.
How y'all doing today?
No, he does.
What y'all
Yeah.
doing?
He is far
He
beyond
says he gets to
5
go
years
on
old.
his Zoom meetings.
Yes.
Yes, he calls his Zoom meetings. He's not school for him. He goes on his
I
Zoom
love
meetings
that.
with his little
I
friends.
love that.
Yes.
Yo, the computer has become like, wow, some crazy form of reality, and the kids are already hip to it. They already know, like,
They know how to shut it off when they when
yeah,
they done.
yeah.
I don't
When
know.
they're not done, they're
Right.
frustrated.
Close.
Right, close.
Close. I'm done.
Oh, it messed up. Did it?
Right.
Because I could hear you still.
Right.
I think it was
the
okay.
screen's not working.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you turned off the camera.
Right.
Or you pretend that you're frozen.
Right.
Oh my god,
You're blinking. I can see you. I can see that you're blinking.
Yes.
it's the new way.
Yes.
That's why I'm all for it. Like on the sense of like keep the remote learning because you don't want to just forget the skill altogether. I mean, hey, but at the same time, like, you know, quality time is needed.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Quality time is needed.
I'll tell you one thing I'm going to keep. So before virtual learning, I was not the tech teacher, right? I was not the teacher to submit everything online. No. I'm going to give you these papers because I need you to write it out. I need to see it. I can take it home with me. But
Docs, no Google Docs.
Right, I did, but it was not like final submission. Or I would be like, go to the help desk and print that out.
Yeah.
and turn it in.
Help desk.
Yes, exactly. That's what it's there for.
Oh Lord.
They
Yeah,
got
it
it.
is.
Yes, they can get stuff printed.
Yes. Over the
So-
printer's down.
No, it's not, right? Or I can select all and just send it to the copy machine
Yes.
and have it on paper. But I think that I'm getting used to the submission online because it's just so much easier. Number one, it tells you what time they turn something in. If it was on time, if it was late,
Yeah.
then it crosses it out automatically on Canvas. So there's none of the, oh, I put it in the tray. I know I put it in the tray yesterday. You lost my paper. No, I didn't lose your paper online. See,
Yeah.
you need to submit your work because I've already gotten some liars.
Yes.
No, I turned that in. Let me share my screen. Look at this. This is not, I'm on your document and it is blank. Let me show you the last time it was edited. Like, I'm
Yo,
hip now.
That's crazy.
So I'm going to keep that.
What I've been doing my whole career, teachers have to now do, and like,
Right. Shout out to the IT guys.
Shout
Because you
out
be
to
wondering
IT.
what they back there doing.
Right,
They not
nothing.
now
nothing.
do on
Right.
a daily
Back
basis.
then,
IT
IT.
doing nothing.
Yo, run that last driver back. Let me see and make
No.
sure that the
Neat
properties.
snacks.
Right.
They right clicking on properties, yo.
Used to stay talking about my IT guy.
Right.
Like,
IT guys
And
with
now
their
y'all
tennis
doing
shoes. They chilling.
Right.
Exactly.
That's what they do. Pass
Right.
out computers.
Now-
Pass out the computer.
Now you need us.
right.
Now you need us.
After
You're
the
welcome.
first 3 weeks of school, y'all ain't doing nothing.
Put in a ticket, send an email.
And I used to
that put
hate
in
putting
the
that
ticket.
ticket when you right down the hall.
Right.
I know I am.
I need a mouse.
I
Put in
know
the
I
ticket.
am.
Right.
Ticket.
All these mice systems right here, I gotta put in the ticket. Why
If you-
would I need to do that?
On the light bulb in my projector blue.
This is the real content that's probably be going through people's heads when they're trying to get
No.
something fixed or
Right, I
done
can't
through
stand.
me.
Did
Lord.
you 2847 this for your IT guy? Why? He's sitting right here.
No, I'm
Like,
not. No,
I'm
I'm
having
not.
a conversation with you.
I'm
You want me
busy.
to go back to my computer
Yes.
to put in a ticket
I'm
about the
busy.
concern that you just told me?
I'm busy.
No. That's the whole thing.
I need
will
to
say-
track my work. I need the
Okay.
ticket to track my
You got
work.
back there with your feet kicked up.
What I will say though, Dominique, similar to what you just said, like the keeping up, like technology wasn't my thing.
Yes, yes.
Old school, part of the old school generation.
I'm telling you.
And so
And you
like,
had the gray book with the spiral.
yes. So all of these
That's wait, no. Wait.
yes, girl. And I used to have when I used
Like,
to grade,
oh, no.
when I was teaching, I used to have a little easy grade.
Yeah, you
Yes.
up with the thing on the side.
And you pull it. You pull it out.
That's what I had. Okay.
You better get that calculator out.
You understand? I'm 20 years in the game, so I mean, of course
Get
I
that-
had this whole thing.
Get the
But
calculator out.
Easy grader.
Right.
And I,
That's what it was called.
when I was
Yes.
decluttering some stuff, I saw my easy grader, and I had a pink one because
you was
it was for
fancy.
breast cancer awareness.
Wait a minute.
But I digress.
Yes.
I've learned some things like Nearpod. I'm learning about that. Like how to annotate on text.
Yeah.
Apps for that.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
It's good.
But let me be clear about Alicia. She learns once. She goes on Crave. So then she had to go get a new MacBook, a new iPad,
snap.
a new this.
Oh, I'm a multiple screen person. I am the multi-screen.
How many screens?
2.
I got 3.
Okay. I'm the multi-screen. Oh, and sometimes I
You should
use
try
my
3.
iPad.
You should try 3.
Sometimes I use my iPad.
Oh, so you got 3. Then.
How many you got,
there it
Dom?
is.
Because I just used one.
So I stole my monitor from my classroom.
Maybe you shouldn't say that.
Well,
You borrowed it?
I borrowed it.
Yes,
For
the
the
kids'
yes,
purposes?
yes. For
Yes.
for
Right.
distance learning.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
they let us come up to get some items, you
Right.
know.
That was on your desk.
And I said, you know what? I'm gonna take the monitor because I don't want to look at the small laptop.
Right.
right.
The
So-
screens are needed.
Right.
The
So
screen, yes, I'm telling you.
I have the monitor. I have my laptop that's connected to it. Then I got a Chromebook on the side.
okay, so
yeah.
she's a 3 too.
Yeah.
You are the person that's behind.
No, yeah, but I don't have to do much teaching. That's the glory. I only need to see one student at a time and my 2 teammates or whoever, and we're good.
Yeah.
That's good.
But
That's
see,
good.
the thing with me is, and this could be a topic for another conversation.
Roll
but you
it
know,
out. Roll it
trying
out.
to be empathetic.
Roll it
You
out.
know,
Yes, grace.
When, as a leader, when the teacher is out, there are no Zoom substitutes. And so, therefore, I have to go in and be the substitute.
No, why y'all doing that?
cancel
I was told
class.
just make it an asynchronous day,
But that's
honey.
so I'm okay with doing asynchronous time, but also like when I feel like the kids have the momentum to be online,
Yeah.
to keep it
You
going,
gotta keep it consistent.
Yeah,
you
just
do.
gotta keep it
You do.
consistent.
You do. And
Well,
yeah.
are people calling out that often?
Yeah.
Not that often, but people are
But enough. You get like you get like at least 2 a day.
Wow.
Because
They're tired.
A lot of they're tired.
Yeah,
they're
so-
scheduled with their own children.
Right.
You know, like you
Yeah,
get like
that's
2 or 3 a
true.
day.
That's
That's just
true.
like not in
But
like.
has anybody had any like Zoom issues? Like I remember I was meeting with a student and my coworkers on Google like chat or whatever.
Get some
They
more done.
decided to chat with me. Me not knowing
Your
that
coworker?
Yeah, it was nothing. It was very harmless. It was like, "Good morning, Crystal. How are you?" Whatever. Not knowing that I felt like I was sharing my screen, my student politely saying, "You know, Crystal, your chat is open." I was like, "Oh, thank you, girl."
No.
But it was nothing. They were just saying good morning.
You do have to be
you
careful
doing?
though in
Right.
the chat because if somebody privately chats you
Yeah.
and yours is not, the drop down
Yeah.
is
A
not
student.
set
A
back,
student was doing that in one of mine.
you can
Zooms.
send it back to
To
everybody.
everybody.
Yeah.
So-
A student
I've
was
had
doing
few
that in my
mishaps,
Zoom.
Nothing like major.
Yeah.
Nothing major like. I usually play the music. We have a morning meeting every morning, and so I usually play the music and then I fade it out. But my fade out is just like pressing the volume down.
That's a fade.
That's my
a-
fade out. And so
DJ,
Right.
because the music is
Slow
because
dance.
the volume is down, somebody else is speaking, and I'm like, we can't hear you. Everybody else is like, yeah, I can hear you. I said, I can't hear you. But I forgot I had turned the volume down, and I interrupted the whole meeting. Said, no one can hear you.
all
Take
that.
yourself off me.
Loud and wrong.
DJ messing.
Right.
DJ messing up.
DJ done
He needs
messed
you a
up.
pre-recorded list.
Right.
Recorded meetings.
Oh my gosh.
No, I haven't had anything. Yes, I did. I was in a Zoom after class with one of my co-teachers, and we were just kind of talking through things. And this is, after work or whatever.
Yeah.
She started to like walk around her house, and I'm like, well, what is she doing? Whatever. We still talking. Then she goes in the bathroom, and I was like, oh, like, what is she doing? So then she proceeds to put the computer down, and I was like, no, you're not you're on camera. Go off camera. She was like, okay, I'm sorry. I'm like, dog.
I mean, what if she was just going in the mirror to look at herself?
No, when you proceed to do this number, I was like, turn the camera off. Turn the camera off.
Oh, yeah, baby girl, she didn't know, because I have been in the bathroom, in the bed. You just got to turn your camera off.
You do.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Camera
she was like, well, hold on a minute.
What, having the camera off?
Like, if you're talking to somebody and their camera is off and you're like, what hello?
Right, she would get burned up on the book clubs when we would have our camera.
Yeah, when the cameras are off, like, let's be fully engaged. So
she's one of those.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
We don't have the mandatory camera thing at my school. It's not.
We got it. We
kind of have it, but kids still don't have their camera. I mean, you can't make them.
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, but the internet is acting up. And I don't know how true it is. I'm like, okay. He was like, I keep coming in and out every time I turn my video camera on. It doesn't work. Does that make sense?
There is some truth to that because
with the Chromebook.
Yeah, because
yes,
if your connection isn't strong enough, and like it's your Zoom will have to choose in between audio or video. So it's always gonna try to put out. It's always gonna try to put out audio first through that channel, and if your Wi-Fi is like dropping out,
so
it'll cut video. It'll cut your video first, and then it'll cut your audio, and then it'll kick you out. So it tries to go through those channels, first in the little codec before.
Okay.
So it's good that 99% of my class has the camera off.
Technically, yes. Technically, yes. No
that's
bull.
How
yeah,
it
technically,
is, legit.
Yes. Technically,
I will
yes.
have 2 students in a class of 17, 4 students in a class of 25. Yeah.
I wonder what they're doing with their cameras on.
Not paying attention to me.
Yeah.
But you know what? You are at home at your mama's house. I can't do nothing about that.
I mean, technically, although you're not in their home, like, Zoom is inviting you into their home.
It is.
And some people are embarrassed, and they have all different reasons.
Yeah.
I've had parents email me, or in conferences a couple weeks ago. Because just like you see my camera off, that's why their camera's off. I'm sorry.
Yikes.
What? Like
Yikes.
what?
Yikes.
This is an invasion of our privacy,
Yikes.
and for personal reasons, cameras will never be on.
Yeah.
We didn't even ask you. Like, relax. But parents have emailed. Due to anxiety, such and such is not gonna turn their camera on.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm gonna come teach with my camera off too then.
I think cameras should be off. I mean, even from a personal standpoint and from a tech standpoint, I think cameras should be off. Your computer can be just as bad as your house, just as bad as the behavior in the house. Just keep the cameras
But I'm
off.
gonna play devil's advocate here for a minute. What about situations where people have been doing things in their home that a camera was able to catch? Like, it's like abusive situations.
Yeah. That's happened a few times.
That's happened a few times.
Yeah.
So I just think sometimes, because again, school is a safe haven for kids sometimes that are not in good homes.
Yeah.
And now they're home way more. They have no escape to these environments.
Wow.
So sometimes if the camera's on, you can catch something
Yeah.
real quick and maybe be able to intervene.
You making me change my answer, cousin?
Maybe, just a little bit.
I mean, because that's a good point. That is a good
But
point.
at the same time, you got to keep your house spotless with that camera on,
You
baby.
do.
You just never know.
And because my love language is quality time, like anytime I have to go into a classroom and the cameras are off, like, y'all know I want to see y'all. Y'all know I miss y'all. Let me see you. And the cameras start coming on and they're like, hey, and I'm like, hey.
And even if it's just turn your camera on, blink twice if you good. Let me know you straight.
Okay.
Then you be having kids laid out across the bed.
Yeah.
Like, sis, you got your whole bonnet on right now.
Oh, they love to wear the bonnet.
Yes.
We had to, like I said, we have morning meetings and we have an advisory group and the girls come in with their bonnets on.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, I'm coming to bring my bonnet. We put our bonnets on, and the kids were like, take it off.
But see, that's when you have a culturally relevant teacher who is admiring the culture or not what's the word? Thank you.
But the funny thing too, because now I have to go in and kind of look at teachers and how they're implementing instruction for different types of learners, right? That's part of my job now. So I went to a classroom, and I'm going to say the makeup of the class was predominantly Caucasian, but you had maybe a couple of African-American students. Honey, this African-American student, I guess he was like, I'm going to get his teacher what she asked for today. He went
the smoke.
in on, they were reading a story about a character who was struggling with being separated from their family. Mm-hmm. And the teacher was trying to relate it to, could anybody relate to situations going on right now?
Yeah.
How would they feel? And he went off on this tangent about how Black Lives Matter. He definitely could relate. And the teacher didn't know what to do. She couldn't stop him. It wasn't like they were in person where she can kind of navigate the situation.
But that's what he was feeling.
That's what he was feeling. And she just, he went off and he talked. And I was just like, in my mind, yes, get her. And I was
rooting him on real silently.
You're not going to silence him today. And then he was like, but I'm done. And I was like, oh, okay.
But I'm done.
But he was going to get his point across. And she was just like, oh, thank you. Anybody else? Thanks. And so then I emailed her. And I was like, I just popping in, seeing how things are going. She was like, well, I just want to let you know, sometimes the conversation goes another direction. I was like, that's, I love it. That's fine. That's how he felt. I thank you for letting him get all of that off his chest. I think he needed that. It's okay if it goes another way sometimes.
Right.
That's that live in the moment situation that you kind of get on Zoom.
But that's that leads me back to my first point that I was making about, people hitting their breaking limit on the empathy factor, where it's like, come on, if this young man is feeling the need to stand on the podium and say this on Zoom at a computer to people that not even in front of him, that means he's really, really feeling it.
He may not have done it in person with everybody else. That's the thing.
Right.
Because nobody else could understand, relate to the character. Nobody else was like, oh yeah, I relate. But he was like, no, I relate.
He completely get it on his own empathetic level. And I feel like the teacher and everyone else should have just understood, and ain't the conversation going left. That's real. That's relevant and it's real. Man.
Dang. Well,
shout out to him, yo.
Yeah.
It looks like we're going to be here for a while in virtual land.
Yes.
Yeah.
Call me for tech support.
Yes. Tech support.
Gotta plug yourself.
Plug yourself.
You taught us something about Zoom. I'm going to use that now.
Because,
look. Real slow, so I might need to come in.
Because it's just as you said. Send me a ticket. Send me an email. Send me an email. BHURDE@gmail.com.
She said she going to send you a ticket.
Put a ticket number in it. Put a ticket number in the joint, and I'll respond. But seriously, if a lot of people's computers aren't up to par. A lot of the Chromebooks that you have aren't industry standard and stuff. So, the processing power not there, the memory power not there, and it's like turn your camera on, and where you at in the classroom. Some people really ashamed of their equipment.
Yeah.
And they got every right to be just to ask me to be remote out of nowhere. The other household might have a leftover HP laptop, but this ain't even a laptop for real, for some other people. I just really think the empathy and technical learning just should just stream over into everything else too.
I'm with you. Take it all back whenever we can get back to school.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Can do.
What are your predictions of when we are actually going to be 5 days in a week back into school?
September.
Of next year?
Of next year? Yeah.
I'm thinking
Next school year.
Well, guys, this was fun.
This was great.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. Don, where can they find us?
You can find us at Be Heard Podcast on Instagram.
Yeah.
BeHeardPodcast@gmail.com. Be Heard podcast everywhere on Spotify and iTunes and everything. Be Heard.
Subscribe, like, follow,
Oh,
share.
on YouTube.
On YouTube, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Provision 14.
Shout out to Cynthia.
As you can hear, very well so. It's lit.
It's lit here.
It is lit. Brunch
Thanks
is
for
lit in
brunching
here.
with us.
We have a safe space going on, but it's lit. Like, so make sure y'all come through. You know, tell them that Be Heard or Poor Choices has sent you. Enjoy the safe space with us, but it's lit. Sunday Funday for sure. Ladies, anything else for the people, for the herd?
Yep. Go vote. November 3rd.
I like
Let's
that.
go.
Y'all fist is up. Got the camouflage on. Ready. Family. Thank y'all for showing love. Black fist up. That's Ronnie right there. You think I'm tech support? That's real. I got it from him. I got it from him. Little sis. Everybody stopping through. Just making sure we all show love, man. Dom, anything else for the people?
No. You're going on and on.
I'm having a good time. Champagne
The
showers
camera
here.
is
We're
cutting
done.
off.
All right.
What are you trying to say,
Be
man?
you.
Trying to do the
Go
last
ahead.
Give him the last
3, 2,
Be you.
be true.
Be heard.
Oh my God.
Drop the ball.
Boom. This guy.
Yeah.